Welcome back to my special guest, David Icke, and me on the edge. I got that wrong, didn't I?
I think I'm the one on the edge, mate.
Yeah, well, there you go.
We're all on the edge. It's
We're
the
all
only
on the
place
edge,
to
aren't we? Last show. Emotional moment. Anyway, the moon. Let's talk about the moon.
be. As I was saying before the break, and the break was lovely because they opened the door and put the air conditioning on. It's fantastic. Can we have another one? But, so I was saying before the break that by the moon being there, it has fundamental effects. It affects time because of the spin of the Earth and all that stuff. It affects time, month. We have the menstrual cycle, the moonstrual cycle, etc., and the hormonal balance of the body and situation of the body is affected by the moon, including the endocrine system, which connects into the vortex chakra system and takes us out into the multidimensional self, including the pituitary gland and the pineal gland, which make up the third eye, the ability to see beyond and perceive beyond the five senses. All these things are fundamentally affected by the moon. And when you think that the foundation of the conspiracy, as I've said earlier today, is to disconnect us from higher levels of awareness, other multidimensional levels of self, and hold us in the five senses, because then they got you. Because you're operating on such a limited perception of self in the world and possibility. But I've gone further in the book than just the moon is there and it has these fundamental effects on the Earth. And I've said that we are, in effect, being subjected to what I call the moon matrix. And just to explain some background here, what I'm saying is that the black holes, they've said there's a black hole at the center of this galaxy. It seems to be that there's a suggestion that they have black holes at the center of every galaxy. And what I'm saying is that the black holes vibrate a frequency, the base frequency of this reality. And that frequency, depending on what it is, triggers the suns to elicit and project photon information, photon encoded information, which we then decode into this reality. That's basically the waveform vibrational level, the metaphysical universe, is manifests itself in the form of these photons, which are information, and then through the vibrational, the five senses, through the electrical, through the digital, into the holographic, we manifest that information here. It's in effect exactly the same principle, Theo, as the wireless internet, whereby if I had a computer now, it would have no wires connecting it to anything, but if there's wireless internet in this studio, that computer would pull out of the unseen, just purely information, a whole collective global reality that we call the World Wide Web. And if I went on it here, or in South Africa, or America, or Australia, it would be the same collective reality. That is the reality that we are decoding from this photon information. And of course, through the meridian lines of the body is photon energy. What's going through the meridian lines, the ley lines of the Earth grid? Photon energy. It's information. So, and this base vibration coming out of the black holes is not static. It goes through a cycle. It goes through a cycle, and then it comes back to the start, basically. And as it goes through the cycle, it's changing the information that is being elicited by the suns in the form of photons, and therefore changing the information we're decoding. And it's this process that takes us through the epochs of what the Indian culture calls yugas, and the Mayans talked about the cyclic nature of time, where we go through different periods of experience. There are times like what they call the golden age of great expansion and openness and connection, and there's other times when it's much more suppressed and limited. And these are different opportunities for infinite awareness to experience different situations. And what I'm saying is that the moon, as in effect, hacked in, excuse me, to that structure that I've talked about. And
so let me just get this straight. Are you saying then that whatever the sun is sending to us is good for us? And whatever the moon is doing to that message from the sun via the black holes, if you like, is kind of blocking it, like a muffler or something on a car or something?
In the simplest terms, absolutely right. And we've got an analogy on Earth, China. the Chinese people cannot access vast tracts of the worldwide collective reality, but the rest of the world can.
Because their web is censored?
Yes, because they have firewalled off great chunks of the internet from their computer system. What I'm saying, Theo, is out of the moon, bless you, out of the moon is coming a frequency which has hacked in to this sun photon reality information construct, which is stopping us seeing great chunks of reality that we could see, and is also feeding us a collective mind, like a hive mind, which is stimulating us to feel anxiety and fear and all the rest of it, to keep us in servitude, and therefore to produce the energy that comes from that. And you know, in the 1990s, still we've got enough time.
We've got loads of time.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, especially for me. You know, Viber diarrhea. Here he goes. I saw a movie. I think it came out in 1988, but I saw it in the 90s called They Live. You've seen that, haven't you? And I could see that it was accurate at the time in its themes, but since I've begun to understand about this moon matrix, absolutely, it is far beyond accurate compared with what I thought it was before. Very quickly, and you can go on YouTube and get it. Just put in John Carpenter, They Live, and you'll get it in chunks. John Carpenter is the man who not just directed it and produced it, he really wrote the music, he did everything. And John Carpenter, when you follow his movie-making history, knows a great amount of what's going on. He's worked with a massive insider called George Lucas on the Star Wars movies, etc. That's not happening in a galaxy far, far away. Come on, George, please. It's happening much closer to home. Anyway, this They Live goes like this. It's set in America sometime in the future. The future from when it came out in 1988 is about now. There's a massive economic collapse going on, and it's a police state. The hero, I'll call him the builder, the hero character arrives right at the start of the film. He's walking from city to city, town to town, trying to get work in the building trade. He manages to get a short-term job at the start of the movie, and at the end of this first day, a big black guy who's on the building site says, "Have you got anywhere to stay?" No, he said, "Well, you wanted to, share what we have." What we have was a tent city, tent village, and corrugated iron, cobbled together shelters, because this economic collapse in America in the movie had people living on wasteland in these tent cities and villages all over the city. Go to America, it's happening now.
Yeah, I've been to Detroit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's happening. Yeah. And what happened then is this builder, who's now in the tent village, he starts to see that some strange things going on at a church across the road, and he goes and has a snoop around when from outside there's a service going on and there's church music playing, and he goes in, he looks around, and he realizes that actually there's a group of people from the village are in there, and the service is a tape. It's playing a tape. It's just a fake. And someone had rigged up a television in this wasteland village, and the main American mainstream channel kept being broken into by this man's face saying, "They're here," was to this effect. "They're here, they're controlling us," etc. And then it would cut back to the program. Anyway, that night there's a police state raid on this village, and they bring in the bulldozers and they raise it and everyone's scattered. Guy comes back next day, the builder, when it's all settled down. He goes in the church, snooping around again, and he finds these cardboard boxes. He grabs one, he runs into the alleyway down the back because he's frightened of anyone seeing him, and he opens it up, and inside is just sunglasses, loads of sunglasses in this box, which, I mean, he's bewildered, he's disappointed. Sunglasses, what's all this about? So he takes one, puts it in his pocket, throws the rest away, and then walks into the main street of this city. And everything looks normal. There's advertisements, people, cars, everything's going on. And he just puts the glasses on. Now the world is shockingly different. Through these glasses, all the drink Coca-Cola and vacation in Jamaica, now all he can see is words like stay asleep, obey authority, don't question, all these subliminals. He then goes to a newsstand and he picks up the equivalent of Time and Newsweek. And when he looks with his naked eye, it's text and colours and graphics and pictures just like now. Puts the glasses on, all he can see are these subliminals: obey authority, stay asleep, don't question. He looks at a dollar bill, and instead of seeing a dollar bill and all that's on it, all he sees is words, "This is your God." Next thing that happens, a guy walks in to buy a paper. To the naked eye, he's a human. He puts the glasses on, this guy ain't human. And it goes on, and he starts to realize, nothing like the majority, but a significant number of people are not human, but they appear human to the naked eye. Where I'm going with this is where it led to.